Hey, welcome everybody. Mlb Dfs pre-lock live for Sunday. We have a big, as always, 1 p.m. Sunday slate. What's the 10 game, Wes? I think it is. I got a co-host today. Actually, Wes is here with me. So, is it 10 games? I don't even have the number of games in front of me here.
Yeah, 10 games Sunday.
All right, so that's not the important part. It's going to be a tough one, but let's just get everything out of the way first. YFC.com, $35 a month, the first 6 months. We have been crushing free Discord. Check us out. Check out our winning lineups room. Baseball is back to crushing pretty much on a nightly basis. We're hitting cash. We're hitting GPPs. We had a good night last night. A lot of other stuff going on. NBA, 1 p.m., 2 games. We'll have information on that. NHL, 2 games. Playoffs, 6 p.m. NASCAR, Eric will have, I think his stuff is already out for the NASCAR at 412. Walter has WNBA tonight at 7 p.m. 2-gamer. I believe actually he's going to the game tonight, I think the Seattle-Dallas game. So he'll have some information out there. So all these niche sports have been crushing. That's our thing. Plus our MLB, the big sports and all of that. So welcome, Wes. Good to see you back. You went to a game last night, huh?
Oh, yeah. Me and Taylor went to the Ole Miss Florida State game last night and saw a gym.
Nothing better than college baseball in late May, early June.
No, it was Lucchese struck out 16 batters in 7 innings. It was a really good game.
Well, maybe we have Trevor Bauer going today, so maybe we'll see a lot of K's today. But it's good to have somebody with me today, co-host. Well, let's get into it. This is a big slate, 105, I believe, lock. No weather concerns. Just check that out. No rain, so that's one thing nice for a Sunday. Going to Vegas. 4 teams over 5 runs. White Sox are highest right now, 5-3. Royals 5-2. The Phillies and Brewers are both looking at 5. So no, there's no cores on this slate. Nobody's really jumping out ahead of the field. I mean, possibly the White Sox, which I'm not even on that much. Jose Abreu is out. Their lineup just came out a few minutes ago. Also, our cheat sheet has just been updated for the premium numbers, updated like 3 minutes ago. So check that out. We will refer to that as we're going along with the show. And we will try to build you guys a decent cash or GPP lineup. We have some price picks afterwards. Actually, price picks has been doing very well. So check that out also, especially our MLB and our soccer with V12. So let's get into pitching. What do we got for pitching right now on our projections on our YFC cheat sheet?
All right now there's 2 guys running away with it. You got Trevor Bauer leading the way at 37.92, and then Corbin Burns right behind him at 36.82, and then you drop about 7 or 8 points to Dylan Cease at 29, and then Dane Dunning at 23.
A lot of ways to go here. If I can, and honestly, I mean, I haven't tried to build that much here. I mean, I am running out of time, but it would be nice to get Burns and Bauer together. It's going to tie up $21,700 of your salary. As we'll go along, we'll see what kind of values popped up. But if you can get those 2 guys together, I'm talking cash here. I think you're in good shape. I mean, start with Burns. To me, I think Burns, if you can only go one, Burns is the play. I mean, he's become matchup proof. He's got the better matchup. 2.24 ERA. But that ERA is actually worse than it should be because he's got a 1.17 FIP, 0.73 WHIP, 81 Ks and 52 innings, which is 13.9 per 9. He's having a good season, 26.3 average. He's only had, I think, one or 2 games. He's only had a couple games where he's been under 20 DK points. Only 2 starts in 9 where he's put up less than 20. Plus Arizona. I know people are concerned about Arizona and some of their bats, but they're actually striking out a lot more lately. That's a team that hadn't been striking out much, but they are striking out now, 24.6 over the last 2 weeks. And 3.5 implied runs for today. So I think Burns is the play. Can we get Bauer? I mean, Bauer's Bauer. Another one I think is matchup proof. He just had another one, 76 innings, 96 punch outs. He's had every start, at least 5 strikeouts, but 1. And you look at the Braves. I mean, everybody's afraid it's the Braves he's facing today. But then I just pulled up the Braves lineup, and if you look at the Braves from 4 or pretty much from 5 through 9, you got Dansby's batting cleanup today. So who are they missing? We got Acuna, Freeman, Albies, Swanson. But after that, you go to Almonte, Adrianza, William Contreras, and Inciarte, and the pitcher. It's kind of watered down there. So I'm trying to figure out who we missing in that lineup. Who's the big bat?
Ozuna's out hurt still.
Well, the Ozuna and the third baseman. The third baseman's out. So yeah, so it is kind of watered down, putting Bauer in a better spot, which is matchup proof. I just don't know if we can get to them. So they're my top 2 plays. I know who else. Anybody else you like there? I know Cease is going to be popular. Scares me a little bit, but who are you looking at?
If you drop back down below those 2 a little bit, Sandy Alcantara against Pittsburgh, I like him a little bit. And on the other side of that, even Chad Kuhl versus Miami. I mean, that neither of those, that game's got a low total of just a little over 8 between the 2. So, I mean, if you were to drop below those 2 guys, Chad Kuhl and Sandy Alcantara are in pretty decent spots.
Yeah, as the morning's going on, I'm seeing Kuhl is picking up a little bit of love on various sites around the industry. And I see the reason. He hasn't pitched great, but the Miami offense right now, they're ranked 23rd OPS for the last 2 weeks. 292 team WOBA, which is pretty bad. And he's limiting hard contact under 30%. So I understand why people are going there. If I'm going to go down that low, I probably would just end up going with a guy like Dunning. I think actually Dunning is in a fairly decent spot. I mean, he's a good pitcher. He's much better at home. And I believe that the roof is closed. So Rays strike out crazy high rates against righties. So I'd rather go to Dunning at 4.9 if I'm dropping all the way down there. But I guess we do have to talk about one other name who's going to be popular is Dylan Cease. I mean, he's pitching much better this year in terms of strikeouts. Gets a matchup against the Tigers, who, we've been picking on the Tigers all season, but the Tigers actually are playing much better. And it's not the Tigers that we saw 2 or 3 weeks ago. So 3.79 ERA. I mean, he's averaging 11.2 strikeouts per 9 at 68 and 54 innings. He had a really rough outing his last time out, though. Tigers aren't scoring much. I don't know. If you don't go Bauer and Burns together, it's probably got to look at Alcantara or Cease. Probably Alcantara.
Right.
Alcantara doesn't strike out a lot of people. His K per 9 is 8.6, which kind of limits his upside, while Cease is 11.2. But it's the Pirates he's facing. So to me, I'm almost thinking now Alcantara is probably the safer spot. I think that Detroit's actually hitting better than the Pirates, but they're dead last in scoring, averaging 3.6 runs per game. This is a tough one. This SP2 is going to be tough. I think ownership-wise, you're going to see Cease is probably going to end up the highest out of all those guys, right? What's his ownership right now again? What are we looking at projections?
Cease right now is 29, and Alcantara is around 15.
I think Alcantara to me is probably the safest, but if you want to look ownership-wise, cash games probably is going to be Cease, because he's looking at almost 30% ownership right now, and he may go higher just mainly because it's the Tigers. So I'm going to do everything I can to get Burns and Bauer. I think we may be able to do it, but there's a lot of bats that I like today too. So
yeah.
Anybody else you like at pitching? I mean, I think we pretty much hit all the big ones. So we talk about Dunning, talk about Kuhl.
Let's see. Mats versus Houston. I don't really like him. That's a terrible matchup, even though he's got a good strikeout percentage.
Hitter's Park, though.
Huh? Yeah, either of the guys in that game, they could do great, but that is a hitter's part. Um, Brady Singer against the Twins, maybe he's cheap with a 22% strikeout rate, and did fairly well against them last time, I believe. But
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much the 4 or 5 guys that we talked about.
Looking over FanDuel quick, Cease is 7-6 compared to Burns 11 and Trevor Bauer 10-5. I wouldn't be surprised if you see more people going Cease on FanDuel. But that still scares me. I'd rather go with a Burns or Bauer. Right now, like Bauer showing the most ownership on FanDuel when he's actually $500 less than Burns. So FanDuel, you play Bauer. To me, it's Bauer or go out down to Cease. DK. I'd love to get Burns and Bauer together and be safe, but we'll see what we can come up with. So let's see what we come up with here as we go around the bases. Let's start with catcher. Few bats I really like. I know a few lineups have popped up in the last few minutes when he came on. I know the Royals came out. Rockies are different. They're the late slate. So what do we got for anybody is jumping out on projections for catcher?
Right now, we got JT Realmuto leading the way at 16.7, and then Sal Perez at 11.5, and then nobody else above 10%. You got Grandal right there close, but nobody else even close to 10%.
Where's Grandal in the lineup today? Grandal is hitting fifth. Mercedes is batting cleanup today against a righty. I in the top plays I have Grandal and Realmuto. I mean, Grandal's got 301 ISO against lefties, 4 hits and 2 homers over the last 3 games. So I probably lean Grandal. I see Washington announce Voth is now starting against Philadelphia. So they're kind of in a mess when they're not announcing their starter on Sunday in the morning until like 11 a.m. So Realmuto, I guess, is in a decent spot also. But man, we got to find some spots to pay down. And who else we got? We got Tyler Stevenson batting cleanup. I actually like Tucker Barnhart today too. He's got 359 Wilbur against righties. John Grant is due for some negative regression quick, and he's not as good at the pitchers he's been pitching. So I wouldn't mind maybe going like Tyler Stevenson at 3-1 against Gant, or go with the platoon splits and with Barnhart, who's batting 7th against Gant. Maybe do we drop down there? I mean, do we pay down at catcher? There's Alex Avila's 2-9 against Velasquez. I mean, what about Avila? He's got the positive platoon. He's a lefty going against a righty.
Today, I would say today's a pay down spot at catcher because you're gonna want to get some of these good outfielders like we'll talk about later. And Realmuto is expensive. He's probably him and Perez are the most expensive and projected the highest owned. But I just prefer to pay down at catcher. That's just my preference.
So if we do, I think Avila's probably the play, batting 6th. He's got the platoon. Going down to Cam Gallagher, who's 2K. I actually used Gallagher. Was it yesterday before in a GPP where he had 2 hits actually, but that's asking a lot for Cam Gallagher. Or we go up to Tyler Stevenson at 3-1. So I mean, there's a few plays. I'm not Martin Maldonado's at 2-7, batting 9th. That doesn't. But if you think about it, anytime you can get a batting cleanup against John Gant at 3-1, catcher, that might be the way to go. Tyler Stevenson.
Right.
All right, so catcher, to pay up, if you have the money, it's a Realmuto Grandal. I think Realmuto will end up being probably the popular play, but I'm looking to pay down here. Maybe to like Avila, Tyler Stevenson, or you can go all the way down to you got Austin Wins is batting down the bottom order at Cam Gallagher. These are all just, you're rolling the dice. Hopefully one of these guys pops one. And they can, but this may be the day to do that if you want to go Bauer and Burns.
Right.
All right, first base, what we got?
First base, you got Josh Bell at 12, then Rice Hoskins at 10, and then Goldsmith at 7.
All right.
Everywhere I'm looking today, everybody has Josh Bell at the top, and then Rice and Goldie are a pretty good distance second and third.
I mean, my play is Vlad. Man, he just keeps hitting. I don't think we can afford him with the pitching, but Vlad he just keeps raking. I mean, to me, you play him every damn day until he drops. But over the last month, he's hitting 350, 11 homers, 25 ribbies, another 24 fantasy points yesterday. And with the reverse split, he's got a crazy reverse split number. So I don't think we can get that high. I'm going to get him in some kind of lineup, hopefully somewhere. Hate to say it, but I mean, I don't like playing him because every time I play him, it's Josh Bell. He burned me yesterday with that late home run, but I think we may have to go there today because you're gonna see that ownership even pump up before lock. It's gonna go up even higher. Hoskins in a good spot though. I think I'm seeing probably a better spot than Bell, but he's also more. Here's another one. One guy we pick on and make fun of all the time is Miguel Sano. But when Miguel Sano is hot, you play him. And right now, Sano is raking. I mean, he's got starting one of those streaks, home run in back-to-back games. So when he'll hit you 3 or 4 in the next 2 or 3 games. So Sano's in play, but to me, he's always a GP play. That lineup's not even out yet for some reason. That's kind of strange. Usually they should be out by now, 2:00 game. But I think Bell's probably the play in cash. That's where I'm seeing people it looks like either people going Bell or Rice Hoskins at 4.8.
Right.
A lot of plays there. Yuli Gurriel, that guy just keeps raking. We got this Bradley kid for Cleveland. Did he end up making the lineup? I'm assuming he did. He's batting 8th at 2K. I honestly don't know that much about Bobby Bradley. I know he got a hit. Was it last game? I think it was yesterday. I think he came in and got hit, right? If I remember, I double. But I don't think you go that deep today at first base all the way down to 2K.
Yeah, he went over in his. He just got one at bat the past 2 games.
Ah, man, so I mean, Bell's not. He does have upside. It is Vinny Velasquez. So Bell's a switch hitter. I guess Bell's probably the cash play if you're not going to go Hoskins. And Hoskins is on fire right now. He's got his last 10 games at bet 324, 9 ribbies, 6 extra base hits. Good matchup against Voth. So if I had the money, I would end up with Voss with Hoskins, but another $1,000 cheaper is Bell. So I guess it's Bell or Hoskins for cash. Don't forget about Carlos Santana either. Carlos Santana, I love playing him, but probably more of a GPP play. I mean, Santana's like 4-1 though against this Bailey Uber.
Yeah, this guy, he's making his first start too.
I mean, Santana hits second. I mean, against Bailey Uber. I mean, I love that stat. Andrew Benintendi is just crushing. Perez is crushing. Witt is crushing. So, I mean, I don't know. It's now playing Josh Bell, but
this Ober kid, he pitched against the White Sox back on May 18th. 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs.
That's a good stat. And if you're not going to play them, you want to get Santana and the Royals in a stack. So right now, though, I would lean Santana over Bell, but I understand why everybody's going to go Bell. He's a cash play. He's probably going to be the chalky play. I mean, right now we're only looking at 12% though. So I don't know. Santana's down like 6%. A couple weeks you can go there. So I just know people are going to go. You're going to see people using Bell. Batting third. All right, second base. Who we got? Who's jumping out there? Altuve?
Let's see.
Urias,
second base, you got Urias at 18, Altuve at 12, and then Jorge Polanco at almost 10. And then Chris Taylor's really close to Polanco.
All right, so if money's not a factor, Altuve's the play. Especially the Astros right now are just crushing righties. Altuve's got 349 batting average against lefties. I mean, 837 OPS, and he's he's 5'4" though. I like Witt though too. I mean, Witt is 7 for 16 in June. So Witt doesn't usually seem a lot of ownership, does he? And what's price?
Witt is probably $5K or more. He is $5,300.
So he's actually $100 less than Altuve.
Right.
He is. I mean, you always get the stolen base out of him. I think he's in a great spot. Semion's always in a good spot in Buffalo there. Altuve's probably the play. It's going to be the popular one. Urias, because he's leading off today against Smith with the positive platoon. Chris Taylor, a sneaky play. I put him in the top place today, too. You look at his metrics going against Fried, but man, lefties has got 464 WOBA, 382 ISO, 327 batting average against lefties. He's really been hitting lefties well this year at 4-1 Chris Taylor.
Yeah.
You got the India kid also leading off again for the Reds. He had a great day yesterday, 2 for 4 at a bomb. He's got some pop to him.
He's got 2 home runs in back-to-back games, doesn't he?
Yeah, I like him. He's a good ball player. But I think it's. If you had the money, it's Altuve or Witt. Josh Harrison is always hanging around there too, right? Where's Harrison batting today? Harrison's not in the lineup. Never mind. So I guess it's Altuve and Witt, unless you want to go all the way down to India. He's really cheap. He's hitting 407 over his last 10 games. But I think it's a big enough slate where you can get away with it. He's not going to be that high owned like he would be yesterday either, though. So, I guess Altuve's the play. I like Witt, though. I like these Royals, though. But then I don't want too many in my lineup either. It looks like a lot of people are going the Altuve route for cash, and then kind of pivoting over to Witt and GPP is what I'm seeing right now across the industry. All right, that's second base. I mean, there's plenty of ways to go. If you're going to pay up, Altuve or Witt. If you want to pay all the way down, you got India sitting there, all decent plays. And in the middle, you got a guy like I said, Chris Taylor. Also, you got a guy, we didn't even mention Jazz. I forgot about Jazz Chisholm either. He's back to leading off. Good spot. So, and then Tommy Edman. Edman, he can always get you 4 for 9 BBP off Miley. So about Tommy Edman. He's under 5K. Always leading off. Miley doesn't do anything for me. I know some people are on Miley today, but so there's plenty of ways to go. But at the end of the day, I guess it's Altuve, your top play for cash. And then you can do it. How much is Ramon Urias?
It's like 3,200, something like that.
But he's a cash play too.
You
got to find value here. So
3,400 is Luis Urias.
He's one of these guys who's not going to win. He's not going to win slates for you. But I mean, you look at a couple games ago. Yeah, he actually had back-to-back home runs here. It was last week, so I guess he does have some pop to him. I don't see Urias, as a guy with pop up. What I just realized the Dodgers, AJ Pollock is batting fifth today at 2-1. There's one of our values right there.
Yeah.
All right, third base.
Third base, we have Jose Ramirez at 30%.
30?
30, almost 30%. And then you got Alex Bergman at 10, almost.
All right, and our projections are usually on, so that's a pretty high number. And I apologize. I keep jumping over FanDuel, but FanDuel the same. FanDuel, I think second base. We just got off second base. Braden Lau. I like the Lau price on FanDuel. Okay, so third base. J-Ram. I guess FanDuel J-Ram 4-2. All right, get that out of the way. DK, we got a lot of. There's a few. I mean, I'm not big on Moncada today, so I think it's between J-Ram and Bregman. I guess with the matchup with Lopez is J-Ram, Camden Yards, hitter-friendly park. He's not cheap, but either is Bregman. But Bregman's been struggling a little bit today. Even though he's got a really good matchup. Left-handed pitcher, left-handed batter in a stadium that's kind of caters to lefty bats. Righty bats. So it's Bregman, but I think J Ram $500 cheaper, hitting better, is in better spot. They're both in great spots, but I think I'd probably lean J Ram at the cheaper price. The way I'm looking at it. There's not. Who else we got in there? Anybody cheaper you can go? I mean, you got Sano sitting there again.
Yeah, Sano, you can use Urias from Milwaukee. Hunter Dozier is, I mean, uh,
Yeah,
I mean,
you
nobody's really, as far as ownership goes, nobody's really other than J Ram. There's nobody touching double digits.
So this is one of your pay ups then.
Yeah, I mean, you can go Alec Baum, who's against Voth for at 3-1. See.
Here's a good GPP play. Arenado against Miley, 7 for 19 lifetime off him. And he's crushing lefties this year. 362 ISO, 402 WOBA. J Ram's a play. I just can't. To me, the way Bregman's hitting right now, I'd rather just go with J Ram. Both in great spots, but I think you pay up a third and go J Ram.
Right.
There's nobody else. I don't think that's a value play, unless you want to go like a guy like Urias. But here's one if you really want to dump it. I forgot Brock Holt's leading off today in Texas at 2-1. So Kevin Gutierrez betting fifth against Ober 2-3. And Gutierrez isn't. Anytime I use Gutierrez, he seems to get a couple hits. He had 2 hits yesterday. I used them in the GPP. So I guess there is some value, but you're going to catch these guys lower. Oh, more or less value for GPP plays. But don't sleep on Brock Holt, a lefty against Michael Wacha. Walker's starting here for Tampa, so that's a tough lineup Texas is rolling out there. They got Willie Calhoun's dropped down to 6th, and letting Brock Holt. Brock Holt's been hitting for years, so there's a couple dump plays. Gutierrez or Holt. You want to be a little bit different. All right, we got shortstop.
Shortstop, we have. I'm sure Correa's number 1. Yeah, Correa's at 17.8. Timmy Anderson at 12. Willie Adames at 12. And Bo Bichette at 11. And then Trey Turner's almost 10.
Yeah, so really,
I'm going to play Correa until he quits hitting.
Yeah, and I have my top plays out, and I don't know why. I somehow went right over Correa. Correa's a core play at 4-5. I don't even have him on here for some reason. But yeah, Correa at 4-5. I mean, Turner, you got the money, great. Turner's always in play against Velasquez. You can get the stolen bases. Joey Wendell, I'm assuming, is Joey Wendell in starting lineup today? That Wendell is always going to be in play against righties. Yeah, he's batting third. Good spot actually for Joey Wendell at 4-9. Willie Adames was raking since he moved to Milwaukee. Got out of the trop. He definitely also in play. Where is Adames hitting today? Why can't I find Milwaukee?
Adames,
yeah.
He's batting second.
All right, so they're all in play, but Correa's the play. You take Correa as a core play, I think, at 4-5 and move on in cash. He's hitting really well. He's hitting 400 his last 10 games with 10 ribbies, 7 extra base hits. You take him. Bichette, great GPP play. Galvis is a good. I think Galvis hitting cleanup today. If you want to go down, but this is a Correa move today at shortstop. You see anybody else?
No, I'm with you on that. That covers shortstop.
All right, let's move to the outfield then. We got a bunch of plays. We want to find our values here somewhere. I'm about done paying up in the outfield. Every time I pay up these guys like the Judges and the Sotos, I'm so sick of getting offers. But the first one that jumps out at me, I think right now is AJ Pollock.
AJ Pollock is
right?
The highest. Yeah, he's the highest owned outfielder right now. You got him at 22. Soto at 18, Harper at 17, Alvarez at 16, Eddie Rosario at 15, and then it drops down. You got Gregory Polanco from the Pirates at 10, Jesse Winkler at 4-1 for Cincinnati. I think that is too cheap, and he's at 10%. And then there's nobody at double digits after those. It looks like it's going to be pretty spread out today.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Yeah, I think you lock in Pollock. I think Polanco's in a great spot. Who else? Who else are you looking at here? Pay up. Of course, Soto's a good spot. Bryce Harper's a really good spot to take against Both. You can't go wrong with Kyle Tucker. You play him every day in cash at 3.8. Another name people just don't play, but he's totally on fire right now is Benintendi. He's hitting over 350, OPS over 1.00 over his last 10. Hits 9 of them, 9 of those 10. 3 2-hit games over his last 5. Benintendi's locked in at 3.6. So you mentioned Winker. Winker's way too cheap. Chris Taylor. I think Corey Dixon's in a good spot today. Tyler Naquin, Ryan Mountcastle. Mountcastle's hitting 3 straight home runs in 3 straight games, and 4 of his last 5. Going to be low owned. A lot of people don't even realize what Mountcastle is doing right now. So Mountcastle is in a good spot. Mountcastle is a GPP play, but hey, the way he's hitting right now against Cal Quantrill, great spot. So there's so many ways to go, I think, in the outfield that you don't need to be paying up for these guys like Acuna and Soto and stuff. Of course, great plays, and they can run your slate for you. But I think there's plenty of ways to go where you can you can roll these guys. So many guys in that mid range where you can't even name them all. I mean, there's so. I said Benintendi. We talked about Winker. We talked about Castellanos is hitting. Alvarez is so cheap. You don't need to pay up for $6K for some of these guys. I mean, hey, if you got the money, great. They're great players. Austin Meadows, 9-game hit streak, and he's at 5.6 though. 5 home runs, in those 9 games. A lot of guys are great spots. I think you lock in Pollock, lock in somebody else cheap like a Polanco or Benintendi, and then maybe see where you can land, and we take it from there. But there's enough value today, I think, to get a Burns and Trevor Bauer. If not, a Burns and Cease, you can still make a decent lineup today.
Right.
All right, so to kind of recap it, I mean, I'm looking right now. Even I'm saying Correa is a core play at short. I still like that Willie Adames sitting there at bat second. So if we're going around, I think catching is the real Muto, or you pay down for somebody cheap, like a Gallagher, or go up a little bit to a Stevenson back cleanup. First base, I'd love to have Vlad if I had the money. If not, it's a Hoskins, I guess Josh Bell day. Second base, it's now Altuve, Witt day, or paying down for an India, right? Third, J Ram, short, Correa, Willie Adames, and then all these outfielders. So many ways to go to the outfield. I mean, Tucker, Pollock, Polanco, Winker, Castellanos. So many ways you can go here. So one good thing, I don't think I'm going to see any crazy ownership today on a lot of these guys. There's not plays out there.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else that we missed? Anybody you like that you want
to? Benintendi in the outfield. Winkler is too cheap. Castellanos is too cheap at 4,100. This Herrera kid leading off for the Phillies at 3.6. Yep. I like him. He's been pretty. Let's see. He's had a 35-point game against Sonny Gray the other day. Had 7 points against Ross yesterday. I mean, he looks like he's taking the leadoff spot from McCutchen for now. Kristen Yelich He's facing a lefty though. Brad Miller is cheap 3-7 for the Phillies in a game with a 5 total. Like you said, you talked about Chris Taylor at second. You could also play him in the outfield. He's batting third for the Dodgers today. But the ownership is just spread out. I mean, a lot today. Everywhere you look, the only person that's like far and away in ownership right now is Jose Ramirez at third. So
yeah, so I think he's going to be a lock in cash, and
right.
we take it from there. All right, who's your top stack?
My top stack today, I'm going to use the Phillies as my top stack today, and against Voth. I think that they're going to score a bunch of runs today.
Yeah, I like the Royals. I'm going to go with the Royals again, probably. Salvi, Santana, Benintendi, Witt, all those guys. I'm going to run like a Dane Dunning, Burns, and then in my cash, I'm going to try to run a Burns and Bauer, or it's going to end up being a Burns or Dylan Cease. Probably going to be able to get a lot better bats than Burns and Dylan Cease, but still, I'm going to try to do it with Bauer, see what happens. All right, anybody that's listening, anybody have any questions? Any of our top plays? Any home run calls? Like I said, I like Mountcastle's rolling right now. He could end up hitting another one. So if not, Prize Picks. We got our Prize Picks code is your fielder it's code YFC. Is that what it is? Yeah. So now code YFC. Few plays I have I wrote down today. And there's probably a few more out there, but my top ones right now I'm Mad Rosario. Wait, where's Rosario batting today? Is he batting second? Okay, yeah, Med Rosario over 0.5 runs RBI. He should be able to score at least once here today. Benintendi over 1.5 total bases. And I have Dylan Cease over 6.5 strikeouts. They're my top three. There's probably a bunch more. I still need to look at it once, a little bit before lock, or before the later games. I was looking at trying to figure out maybe some more strikeouts. I'm thinking Chad Kuhl 5K. I'm thinking about maybe Kuhl over five strikeouts. That's another one I was looking at. Louis Garcia today. I don't mind him today going against Toronto. He's at 5.5. They're kind of like secondary plays. But there's a lot of plays out there you go to the board. But I think we're pretty safe with Cease over 6.5 against Detroit, who strikes out a lot. Rosario should at least score once or get a ribby. And Benintendi, the way he's hitting 1.5 total bases over.
Right.
That's our Prize Picks. All right, it is 12:45. You got like 20 minutes to lock. Anybody have any questions? If not, we're going to cheat sheet. We'll end up updating at least once more before lock. I'm curious to see what the changes are going to be. I'm curious to see if Cease is going to jump up a little bit more in pitching right now. We're seeing him at 30%. If not that, I guess we're out of here. I appreciate having co-host today, Wes. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Mickey, our producer. We're out of here.
All right. Later, guys. Good luck.